The American dream. What is it? For generations, the American dream has been the symbol of hope and success, promising that anyone, no matter of their background, racial identity, religious beliefs, etc., could achieve prosperity through hard work. But today, many people are waking up to a different reality. See, the dream is fading, and for many, it feels like a fantasy. So I present the question: is the American dream dead? Is it better to live a lifestyle outside of the U.S.? Chapter 1: The Decline of the American Dream. Once the idea of the American dream seemed simple. Work hard, save, buy a home, and build a better future. What's not to love about that? But with skyrocketing house prices, student loan debt at an all-time high, stagnant wages, and a rapidly increasing cost of living, the American dream is becoming more and more elusive. Just a few years ago, the average home in America was about $240,000 now. If you check the prices of the average home now, it's just under $500,000. In the past, you could expect wages to increase alongside the cost of living, but that's no longer the case. Is this done on purpose? Why did this happen? The average American worker now has to work longer hours just to afford modest home or to pay off mounting debt. You see, in the past, people looked down upon ancient times and believed they had less freedom than us. But did they really? In the feudal ages, they worked roughly 150, 140 days per year. The average American is working more than 300 days per year. Was this done by design? Many are waking up to the harsh reality that despite their hard work, they may never achieve the same standard of living their parents or grandparents once enjoyed. The dream isn't necessarily dead, but for many, it feels out of reach. I know for me personally, I remember graduating college some years ago and I felt like, okay, this is it. This is when things are starting for me. You know, some of my friends did better than others, but most of us were in a position where we had to either move back with our parents, get multiple roommates, try to figure something out, move to different cities, states, countries, etc. We were under the assumption that a college degree and a few years of experience potentially could also benefit you a lot. There's a very competitive job market, and then when you do get a job, you have to start typically at the lower salaries unless you're connected and you know people and you can get in certain rooms that the average person can't get. And even so then, you're battling inflation on a regular basis. My company that I currently work for now, I got an increase in my pay last year. Guess how much? $1,700. In 1 year, I got a $1,700 raise. So let's say I was making $50, it would now go up to $51,700. Here's the thing. The average cost of goods and services in America typically go up 4 to 7% a year. So let's say, going back to that same example, I'm making $50,000 per year. If my cost of living goes up 5%, which I can't necessarily control, the price of gas, the price of rent, insurance, etc., a measly 5% would be $2,500. And that's favorable. That's not assuming, it doesn't go up 7%. And sometimes these are just average numbers. They can go up higher. As we know, last year and the year before that was somewhat of a recession and things were not normal. I believe this is purposely done by design to have us keep going up and down the hamster wheel. Chapter 2: Why are people looking abroad? In search of a better life, some Americans are looking for life outside of America. In previous generations, this concept was not as common, but as the years go by, this concept becomes way more common. Some of the countries that Americans are looking at are Canada, Sorry, some of the countries, hopefully you're not looking at Canada, they're having worse issues than us, but some of the countries that the people are looking at are Mexico and Thailand. Countries like Thailand and Mexico are offering a little more financial stability than America as far as the cost of living, assuming you have your American salary, and this can be very eye-opening for a lot of Americans. During COVID, we saw the highest number of remote workers in recorded American history. Here's the thing, after COVID, this trend continues, right? And people are looking for other options. Where can they park their US dollars and have a safe, affordable life, and they don't have to constantly stress and think about money? So the question becomes, why are people looking at countries like Thailand and Mexico? Well, the first thing, obviously, is the cost of living. The cost of living in countries like Thailand and Mexico is significantly lower than in the US. Places like Chiang Mai, Tulum, you can rent an apartment for under a fraction of what you pay in American major cities. The rent is great, but it's not just about rent. The cost of groceries, utilities, important things like health insurance is even cheaper. It's just overall a better option financially. Chapter 3. Quality of life in Thailand and Mexico. When people typically think of Thailand and Mexico, they may potentially have a negative image painted in their mind, purposely done by the American media. There's a reason why a lot of Americans are moving to Mexico or moving to Thailand. And that is because the cost of living, but also the quality of life. Thailand and Mexico boast incredible scenery, wildlife, nature, fantastic cities, and rich cultural experiences. In places like Mexico, you can enjoy fresh, almost not processed or not processed at all, food straight from the source. This food will be a fraction of the cost it would be in the United States. Healthcare in these countries is also important, right? You got countries like Mexico, Thailand, you could even throw Vietnam in there. Despite what you may have heard in the media or what you believe is true, these countries actually have superior health quality services, especially if you have the right finances, right? But assuming you have the US dollars, it's not going to be nearly as costly as it would be here in the United States. While American citizens often struggle with expensive insurance premiums, many experts in these countries enjoy affordable, world-class medical services, often without needing insurance. Additionally, there's a focus on wellness and overall speed of life. You notice as soon as you get off the plane, it's a different vibe, right? In America, a lot of times it's hustle, money, do this, we gotta be here at this exact time. I respect it, I understand it. That part I'm not necessarily painting a bad image on, but I'm just saying you'll notice once you go to a lot of other countries, the pace of life can either be slower, more controlled, or more relaxed. Money is important, but there may not be a strong emphasis on money and capital and resources as there is in the United States. The problem is we focus so much on capital that we're willing to sacrifice things like health. The top 5 deaths in America are all health related. Chapter 4. How to make the move. Now, of course, moving abroad is not just easy as waking up one day and be like, hey, I want to go to Mexico. Hey, I want to go to Thailand. I understand it takes some strategic planning and some smart thinking. I'm here to help you along this way. I myself am actually in the process of leaving the States. I'm not saying you have to do exactly what I'm doing, but this is my plan, right? So if you enjoyed this journey, if you enjoyed this video and you want to continue along with me, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share. I appreciate all the support we're getting, and we're on our way to our first 1,000 viewers. Sorry. We're on our way to our first 1,000 subscribers. To move abroad, you have to do careful planning and research analysis. The first step I'd recommend is the documents/visa process. So each country is going to have its own visa process depending on your nationality, your age group, your finances, what country you came from, etc. Right? So what is required in Thailand is not going to be the same that's required in Mexico. It's not going to be the same that's required in Vietnam. It's required in Japan. There are certain countries like Singapore and Japan where they make it very difficult to get its citizenship, which I understand. I respect the game. But then there's other places where you can just pay to play, right? You pay in $150,000 investment, you buy a property, you do this, or maybe you just stay there for 2 years and you get citizenship. Each one will be different. Many countries offer visas such as the digital nomad visa, and this became popular during COVID. Countries like Brazil, Thailand, they introduced this, right? As far as a few others as well. Spain has it now, Portugal has a form of it. But typically it is you just need to provide us showing proof that you're making X amount of dollars, right? And once you make X amount of dollars, you show that bank statements, payments, etc. And then they will grant you access to that visa. It's important to do research on things like cultural differences and language barriers. You will at one point run into a culture shock. You will. No matter how much research and analysis you do, just be prepared for that. So I say that to say this, you want to be open-minded, study the culture, a little bit of the language, how the people move and groove, build some connections if you can, maybe over social media. You know, you get some insight on it, but be prepared to have moments of confusion or loss. It's completely normal, especially in the first 6 to 12 months of living in a new country. Building a support network is important too. Expert communities exist in your transition into life abroad. There's many websites and or social media pages that are dedicated to this. Whether you move into Mexico or Thailand, there are resources and fellow experts ready to guide you along the way. Chapter 5. The downsides and considerations. But living abroad is not exactly perfect. It's not going to be a 100% escape to your problems. It could provide somewhat of a solution, but you have to make sure that you're the best version of yourself and prepare for ups and downs. No one place on this earth is perfect, right? For example, let's say we're talking about Mexico. There are areas that are very safe, but there's also areas that can be considered somewhat dangerous. Let's use Thailand, for example. I personally love Thailand, right? And I love other countries as well. But Thailand has a reputation as far as gold diggers or people looking for what you can potentially offer them. So you have to be cognizant of that. It's crucial to research and prepare before making the move. Now, while the cost of living is cheaper in a lot of these countries, you'll find out that you live in the same lifestyle that you were when you left. So because you're living a USA lifestyle in another country, this as well could present additional issues. But for many of these obstacles are worth overcoming for the opportunity to escape the grind of the American life. The final chapter, the conclusion. So just because the American dream may be out of reach of many doesn't mean that you have to settle for a life of struggle. Living in countries like Thailand and Mexico offer an alternative, a chance for better quality of life, a fraction of the cost if you're ready to make the change. I encourage you to do as much research as you can. If you have any questions, you do have me as a connection. We are all family. If you want to leave a comment under here, or if you want to reach out to me on my socials, I respect that as well. Some people want to keep it anonymous, so they try to message me on Instagram, which I am completely open to. So far, I've been answering every message that I can. I'm doing my best ability to reply to every comment. I don't think I've missed one comment yet. If you have any questions or if you like this type of content, make sure you leave a comment under the comment section. And I hope y'all have a nice day and safe travels.